Normally on this channel, I buy ragged out piles of shit, but today, for the first time ever, hopefully, I got a good one. This is a 2004 Jetta, but this isn't your girlfriend from high school's Jetta. This is a GLI, unless you had a really cool girlfriend. The Mark IV was an iconic platform that still has a place in many enthusiasts' hearts, including mine. But let's be honest, these cars are now 20 to 25 years old, making many of them rough. Like really, really rough. If you scroll through Facebook, you'll find rusted out cars, hacked wiring, trashed interiors, multicolor panels, missing parts, jacked up wheels, and so much more. And the biggest mistake you can make when looking for one of these projects is to rush into a ratted out pile of garbage just because you're excited to get one. Now, I was not planning to buy one of these cars, but this one landed in my lap and it looks beautiful inside and out. Most notably, it has the BBS wheels and the center caps, which is rare for any of these GLIs or any cars that came with those BBS RCs. There is a little bit of clear coat peeling on the bumper here and the grille here. That's really the only major imperfection in the entire exterior of this car. This one's got a little bit of peeling on the clear coat right here. We look around the back, also great, still has the rear lip from the GLI, the exhaust from the GLI, also a GLI emblem, and the taillights that you would also find on this car from the factory. GLIs, I think, were the first cars that had this deck lid where you can see it kind of had like a spoiler to the trunk. Most of the other cars were just like meh, meh before that. The biggest thing that makes this car such a great find is all the original GLI stuff is here. Like the front valance, the side skirts, the rear valance, the exhaust, the wheels, all of that exterior stuff that's rare and impossible to find or very difficult to find is all here and original in good condition. That also includes the interior of this car. So the door panels are actually not original in terms of the coverings on the side of them. He recovered these because, like many of these cars, as they age, the panels peeled. That's gonna be pretty normal, but the seats, especially for 171,000 miles, are not ruined. These things are still reasonably bolstered, but they're not destroyed. A lot of these cars you're gonna find with these really special seats, second best seats in Volkswagen history, behind the Mark IV R32 seats, these actually aren't ruined. The stitching is splitting and needs to be fixed in a couple spots, but it's fixable as opposed to completely torched. They had a steering wheel that was a 3-spoke. They had a special instrument cluster in them. They had aluminum trim on the door panels. They had some on the door sill here. They have it on the dashboard. They have it on the shift surround. GLIs also had a black headliner and all the matching black items on the roof. This has all been recovered because, of course, as typical, the headliner was falling and it got recovered with new material and it did a nice job. This car also has the aluminum ashtray cover. This is back when we actually had ashtrays and used to be cigarette lighters in there. And GLI shift knob. This one's kind of worn, but we'll put a nice shift knob on there. This center console isn't GLI specific, but it was unique to later model cars because early Mark IVs only had cup holders in the dashboard right here. What they were is these spring-loaded arms. It would fold out so that what you would do is when you would accelerate, it would open up and it would cause your drink to come flying at you as you accelerated. So what I had to do, and my Mark IV actually had those style cup holders, as I would accelerate, I would hold my hand on the dash as I was under hard acceleration to prevent my drink from flying at me. Also, GLI got these fancy pedals that were aluminum with these little rubber guys on them. You can see, boop, they're really cool. Dead pedals there. The rubber is mostly gone from a lot of these, but that's not shocking with the 171K. When we open the hood of this car, you can see, first of all, it has this pull, which is really rare because these break very easily. It has a 1.8T engine. This is a 180 horse one. It has a 6-speed manual transmission. Every one of these GLIs had a 6-speed manual. It was the only Mark IVs with 6 speeds other than the 24 valve cars and R32s. And as you can see under here, this thing is fully original and all stock. Let's take this on a quick test drive. So most notable things, this car drives pretty good. Nothing special. It's a little bit kind of worn out. You can feel bushings and stuff like that, and suspension are worn. The thing that I noticed first is how desperately slow a stock 180 is. It is shocking how slow this car is. Like, I remember having one of these. I bought one of these new. I couldn't afford a GLI. I had a Strippo Mark IV GTI. I remember thinking it was fast back in the day, even before I had any mods on it. And God, this car is slow. It's so bad. I wouldn't even call it quick. I have lights on the dash. There's some stuff that happened along the way. We're gonna address that once we get in the shop and we scan for faults. Yeah, you always have to have a check. A Mark IV isn't working unless it has a check engine light. So this is a CarPlay Bluetooth radio that the previous owner put in here. This is the only non-stock thing, and it's the only requirement I have for cars, is I need to have a CarPlay radio. I must have it. This car, honestly, being in the condition it's in, is a tribute to the previous owner more than anything. A lot of people see me make fun of the people who previously owned a lot of the piles of shit that I've bought over the years, but I feel like they deserve it, because on the flip side, there are people like this who have a car that's way older, that this car is way nicer than like that Mark 7 that one of the guys that works with us drives, which is nice now because I put a bunch of work into it and then he put a bunch of work into it. That car is nice now, but it was a piece of shit because the guy treated it like garbage. And it's a testament to, like, don't treat your stuff like garbage, otherwise you're gonna end up with a worthless piece of shit. Under the hood of a car, we're gonna take a look around. One thing I did have happen to me when I was driving this car after about a week or two is the brakes stopped working. Hit the brakes, but the car was not stopping. And that's because this hose right here cracked. And so there was some tape on it to repair it. And that tape melted off, as it often does with electrical tape. And so I had to come up with a heat shrink temporary solution. I'm gonna have to get a new pipe for this. But what you do is cut it, get the heat shrink slid on, slide it over the pipe, fix your crack, and then it fixes your vacuum leak, which is what's preventing the power brakes from properly working. But this is old car problems. I have not looked at this car other than a few minor things that I had to fix to make this car start and run and drive. So this is going to be my first look over of this car. Right off the bat, you can see right here, see how I can stick my finger in between here? That's because the strut mount, basically the rubber that goes on top of the shock, is so mushed down that it pushes up into the housing. So this gap is an easy indicator on Mark IVs. Over time, they'll smush down further and further. And obviously that affects the bushing between the body and the shock. Most 1.8Ts don't have these engine covers, which is kind of shocking. It's a little bit nostalgic for me because when I started working on cars, it was on Mark IVs. And I took off a lot of these. And this is what most 1.8Ts usually look like, except for they're missing this plastic piece too, because people get annoyed that they have to take it off and then they don't put it back on. Engine cover here, you can see these coils have been replaced because they have Bosch labels on them. You can see all of the connectors. This connector is completely broken out. That's pretty normal. That one's also broken out. That one's also broken out. Pretty standard for pretty much all of these cars of this age. One thing that you will find on older 1.8T cars is all these ground wires, which are brown, a lot of times will be cracked. These are not. So you'll have issues where the sheathing will like deteriorate from all the heat and then like just crumble away until you end up with misfire issues. They actually look okay. So this is a vacuum reservoir, and this made me laugh a little bit because someone has like tried to yank this off without taking this nut off and they broke it. And then they like JB welded it or super glued it or something back together. So you can see this seam right here is from somebody who like yanked this and snapped it off and then like, ooh, put it back there. Remember, I've taken out a lot of these in my life, so I actually know how to do this to not break it. And I was the kind of dealer tech that actually put them back. This right here, so this is a secondary air pipe, but underneath here, there's a bunch of solenoids and stuff. That's where all your vacuum lines are and stuff like that. They control a variety of things in the engine bay. Those vacuum lines are a very common source of vacuum leaks. Most people in most circumstances are just going to delete all the vacuum stuff once you have a vacuum leak. And it's actually not the worst idea, because what will happen with 1.8T cars is it's like a game of whack-a-mole. You'll have one vacuum leak and you fix that one and you start touching other vacuum lines, and it complete domino effects, because every vacuum line you touch creates potentially another vacuum leak because they're old and brittle and they fall apart. And like this is what happens. Like this solenoid right here is a good example. See how it's all white and chalky? You try to take one of these hoses off, no shot that's coming off. It's gonna crumble completely, just bleh, guaranteed. This one too. See that one? Also, same thing.
Well, don't touch it.
I mean, you can touch it okay. There's supposed to be a clamp on there. A lot of people will leave stuff like this because on naturally aspirated cars, it's not a big deal. On turbo cars, they make boosts, which means there's pressure inside of here. So pressure will push past things that aren't clamped. So you need clamps on boosted cars. And you can see this battery box cover, that's gonna be rare on most cars of this age. These headlight covers, also very rare. A lot of times these would just go away and never get put back. This has been replaced, I can tell you, because this says Euro on there. It's an aftermarket brand. And it's the reason why is because these burn up. So this fuse panel will burn up because of issues with high resistance in one of these wires, and it will cause a high resistance and it will torch this post in here. And so easy way to tell anybody who's experienced Mark IVs, whenever there's a problem with like different issues with charging or fans or whatever else, you look under here and just check these and you'll see this is all like melted and blobbed up. This is certainly one of a kind in terms of it having a stock airbox. Another common Mark IV issues is coolant flange leaks, which is right down here. Coolant temp sensor, which you can see right here. They used to go bad back in the day. Someone has repaired this one. And the reason why I can tell you it's been repaired is because number one, it's got electrical tape. Number two, yellow wires. Dealers or people like our shops would use these yellow repair wires, and that's how you can find wire repairs. Because then you know a wiring repair has been done in that place. And so if you're having a problem, you know that you can look into that repair and make sure it's good. Usually what will happen is the terminal ends will get like loose or opened up too much or whatever, and you replace the ends to make sure that you have a good connection. It does have the foam under the hood, but not really. It's kind of there. All right, let's pop off this timing cover real quick and let's take a look. You can see the timing belt. It looks a little shiny. Oh no. That feels a little too loose. Like way too loose. Oh my goodness. Like I don't want to know if I want to start this engine loose. And the reason why that's a problem is because a loose timing belt can allow the engine to jump time, which means it'll bend the valves, costing thousands of dollars to repair. I have been driving this car for 2 weeks like this. I would not have driven it if I had known how loose this was. But for now, we can't do anything. We're just gonna have to continue with our inspection, and later on, we'll get this timing belt replaced. If you need a timing belt for your car, whether it be this car or any other, check out our site, shopdap.com. We've just added thousands of affordable options that we have not had in the past. We've had mostly genuine stuff in the past. We now have much more affordable options. Also, if you are someone who has a lot of e-commerce experience or think you have a lot to bring to our team, we're always looking for great people, both in the e-commerce side in the warehouse and in our shops. Send us an email, jobs@shopdap.com, with your resume and tell us why you might be a great fit. Going up. These wheels, if you don't know, are called BBS RCs. They were a lightweight wheel for the time. They were 18s, which were big for cars. These center caps you won't find on most of these wheel sets that you see on cars. And the reason why is because they're really expensive. They have a special tool to take them on and off, and people never replace them because of that. This car has all four of them. Imagine that. It seems like he wanted to make sure they didn't lose these for sure. Yeah. These brakes, not many Volkswagens got these calipers or size discs. So these were an upgrade over every other car. Yeah, so the calipers would have been read from the factory on these cars. And as you would with any inspection, you can go this way. If you push it this way and this way, you'll feel tie rod play, and there isn't any, and you can go this way to feel for wheel bearing play. And then I can pull in and out like this to see if there's any like ball joint movement. No, I don't feel any movement anywhere, so we're good to go. Yeah, shocks like this, you can kind of pull up, see if there's any leaking, any like wetness in there. No leaking there. And back brakes in this car, also red. They're nice and shiny. I'm pretty sure they've been repainted. These cars had vented rear discs, which was very rare for any of these cars. R32s were the only other cars other than these that got vented rear discs. Here we are underneath the car. We're gonna do our visual inspection underneath. And the first thing I'm noticing here is this CV boot's torn. You can see that guy is wide on open. So either need a new boot or a new axle. Okay, so here our drain plug on the oil pan, you can see it has a small leak on it. Oil coming from right here. It's probably from the valve cover. Valve covers are kind of known to leak on 180s. These tires look absolutely perfect. So you can see they're almost brand new tires. Most Mark IVs you're gonna buy, almost 100% of them are gonna have straight up drag slicks on them. There's not gonna be even a hint of tread left on the tire. If there was a whiff left on the tire, they would just go do a burnout just to burn it off, just to f you over. Yeah, so this tie rod end has 100% been replaced because you wouldn't find this castle nut and this cotter pin on a factory Volkswagen tie rod end. The other side you can see is the same, which means that one was also replaced. This one's splitting actually right here. You can see the blue. So it was quite a long time ago, obviously. All original exhaust. Here's our downpipe here. The hot boys would want to get rid of that fella real fast. And then the catback. This is unique to GLI. It is a single exit exhaust. And so this is all original for sure too. And you can see it's got a little bit of rust on there, but not like rusted through in any way or having major concern of rust. No, I'm gonna leave this exhaust on there because this is the exhaust that belongs on the car. The car needs a little bit of love to be right, but it's pretty damn good, man. Here is our fuel filter, and right here there is a date stamped on it, and that is February 27th of 2010 is when this was made. Take that for what it's worth in terms of when it was replaced, but sometime in the early 2010s, this fuel filter was probably installed in this car. Let's just say it was 2012. So let's say call it 2015 just for the sake of cleanliness. So it's a 10-year-old fuel filter. So we'd probably want to replace that one. That's a body plug. It's hanging on for dear life. It was just riding along like this. I don't know how it's like that. I can't believe it didn't fall out of the car. We used to put some of these body plugs in on PDI, on Mark IVs. This hole right here specifically, I remember this because the shape of these, you would have to punch body plugs in as part of the PDI process. When you're like checking in cars, you check out the strut blocks, you look over the car, blah, blah, and you have to put these body plugs in. So someone, either these rotted out, I would doubt it, or whoever PDI'd this car sucks. I don't think it was me.
What if you PDI'd this car?
Oh boy, that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? So I'm gonna pry bar these control arms just to check the bushings for like how worn they are. This was a thing I was doing many years ago on a Mark IV GTI that I was filming, and the shock tower fell off and almost murdered me. The shock completely fell out of the knuckle, nearly killing me. I'm lucky to still be alive. Seems like they feel pretty good, so they're not really worn in any significant way. Really all you're looking for is like additional movement that's like kind of clunks, which means the rubber is no longer there and it's not taking up the space anymore. Actually, all these look pretty good. We have an oil leak, we have a CV boot, we got some kind of cracking tie rods, but like they're fine for now and they have no play. And then we have a fuel filter that we gotta replace. A homeboy, I would presume his son, was coming in and out of some pretty steep driveways, it looks like, because this is a stock ride height car that has the bottom of the exhaust tip shaved off. So he was into some real steep stuff, is what it looks like to me. Our friend, he has a lot of items in here that he saved. This is nice. It can help preserve. I probably should have left this in the windshield when I was letting this car sit like I have been. This is the radio box. I wonder, is the original radio in here? He probably has the original. It feels heavy. Hell yeah, look at that. Oh, this is a real throwback. And plug that tape into your tape player and then hit play and it will just play your aux stuff from your phone. Your iPod, yes, iPod Nano, not an iPod Touch. What were you, rich? And actually it's in pretty nice shape. This is an original Monsoon radio.
Think somebody wants that thing?
Someone will. Someone will message me, I'm sure, and say, hey, can I have that? And I'm gonna be like, no. No. I'm not gonna, you can't have it. It's my radio. If you want a period correct radio for your car, go get a Pioneer Dolphin radio. This looks like an original GLI mat, and these look real crispy. Oh, that looks more like that. That was a passenger side mat. This makes more sense to me.
Oh, you
can fix that. We'll fix it right up. VX Tuning makes like different projector lenses and like nice headlights for Mark IVs. So he actually spent some money and got some good headlights for this car. So we got a goodie bag with a few items. We got headlight bulbs. I have a backup camera, which probably goes to that head unit. Oh, fuel filter. Hey, we're ready. Mark IV power steering. What is this? Banjo bolts and banjo crush washers. What is this? Oh, homeboy got our vacuum pipe. Oh yeah, look at that. See? He just didn't want to do it. That's what it was. Because it goes underneath the intake manifold and like this nest of stuff. And that's why he didn't want to do it. Mark IV ashtray. Oh, that's vacuum routing. Man, this guy saved everything. So this is the vacuum routing label that would go on like the core support. They get old and like fall off. Oh shoot, we got some touch-up paint. This is the right color, Black Magic Pearl. Usually what people do when they do touch-up paint is they goop it all over everything. And then you're like, hey, that was a scratch. Now it's just a blob of paint that you put on. It looks much worse. I think we figured out why our drain plug is leaking, and it's because we're using Dorman drain plugs. So, don't be sealing is what it don't be doing in this particular case. So, that's vacuum pipe. So this is nice. I got multiple items I need. I don't have the CV boot in here.
You got the fuel filter?
But I got a fuel filter and this vacuum pipe. That's really cool. What is this? It feels like a t-shirt. Oh, what is... Oh, this is the headliner.
Oh, God.
He was just wanted to make sure that he had all the original stuff just in case. And in this particular case, yes, ugh. Maybe we didn't need to save that one. That was the one we probably could have done without. So the faults we had in our system were related to the fact I had the mass airflow sensor unplugged to allow the car to run with a vacuum leak. And that's it. You can see this car is pretty solid. It's got a few things that need to be done. And the question is, what am I going to do with it? This car will likely be my oldest son's first car. I'm not going to let him ruin it. The fuel pump's already failed, by the way. So that's fun. So I have to put a fuel pump in it. So that'll be the next video on this car. Bye.